everyone, welcome to the lecture number 49 of this NPTEL lecture series on charging infrastructure, and in today's lecture we will continue our discussion what we have started in the previous lecture, where we were discussing about how the AC charging will take place whenever we connect type 2 AC charger plug. So let us recap. We have understood about what is there in the PP circuit, proximity pilot pin circuit. We know that in AC charging we have all our power conversion is taking place inside the vehicle using the onboard charger. However, the EVSE, which is the electric vehicle supply equipment, does only metering, monitoring functionalities and protective functionalities, and gives the AC at its output, which will be directly plugged into the vehicle. Then we have seen what is there in the PP circuit. We understood that in the PP actually helps the EV to identify whether the plug which is been plugged into the EV is correct plug or not, or you can say that is within the charging plugs which are being there in the ecosystem. So in that there is one resistance named as R6, which for different current levels, for different types of charge, either AC or DC, that value of R6 will change, and accordingly the vehicle will come to know by using this PP circuit that either charging plug of 63 ampere or 32 ampere or CCS2 charging plug is been plugged into or not. So here we have taken one example where we have taken one 1500 ohm, and using just the voltage divider circuit we could able to see that our voltage at PP pin, when we have the R6, the voltage at PP pin with respect to the protective earth is nothing but equal to 3.87 volt. And accordingly, the tables can be made where which indicates if the resistance between PP and PE, which is nothing but the R6 resistance, if it is greater than 4500, then it indicates there is no plug which is been connected, or you can say it is error condition, or there is a plug get disconnected. If it is 1500 ohm, then it indicates it is the 13 ampere plug. And how the control in the vehicle comes to know, it is by sensing the voltage at the PP pin with respect to the protective earth pin, and when it gets the voltage 3.87, they come to know that it is nothing but is the R6 value is nothing but 1500 ohm, and that corresponds to the 13 ampere AC plug having the wire cross section 1.5 square mm. Similarly, for other ohm resistances, the different values you will obtain at the PP pin, and then you can back calculate and can able to identify what will be the charging plug which gets plugged into it. Now this is the way by which vehicle identifies whether there is a correct charging pin gets plugged in or not, and once they identify that it is a correct charging plug, vehicle will get immobilized, that means it will not move further, and then after that our communication takes place between the EVSE and EV, and that communication is taking place using the control pilot. Again here we have already discussed that in AC charging the power conversion, that means AC to DC and then isolated DC-DC power conversion is taking place inside the vehicle. So since the power conversion is taking place inside the vehicle need not to share, or you can say the BMS of the vehicle need not to share a lot of information about the status of the battery to the AC VSE, because the controlling can be done inside the vehicle using the onboard charger. So in this case they use a simple PWM based communication, which is also called as the low level communication. If you see the PWM pulses, so the PWM pulses has one time period which is nothing but 1 by frequency of PWM, with which it repeats itself. Now you have the voltage level of PWM, that means the positive voltage level and the negative voltage level. You have, and here you can define this has to be the time during which the positive voltage level is been applied is nothing but given as the T on time. So then we can say that the time during which the PWM has the non-zero positive value. So for that we can define a term called as the duty ratio D, which is nothing but T on by T. Now this duty ratio indicates the fraction of the time in the PWM cycle when the voltage level of PWM is positive non-zero value, and depending upon different voltage levels the vehicle and the EVSE detects what will be the state of charging, and depending upon the duty ratio, the EVSC tells the EV what will be the maximum value of current it can deliver at that moment. So, let us see what is the meaning of each and individual thing one by one. So, in this we know that the communication, once the proximity plug identifies the correct plug, and that is when the communication will start between the EVSC and EV using the PWM pulse of 1000 hertz, which is nothing but 1 kilohertz PWM signal. And this 1 kilohertz PWM signal is generated nothing but by the EVSC or the electric vehicle supply equipment. That means the electric vehicle supply equipment will have the oscillator which will actually generate the PWM of 1 kilohertz. And on the vehicle side, vehicle actually measures the duty ratio, duty ratio of the PWM pulse which is being sent over the CP pin from the EVSC to vehicle side. And along with duty ratio, it also measures the frequency. However, in this communication, as per SAE J1772 or IEC 61850, we are not actually changing the frequency, we are keeping the frequency at 1 kilohertz. So, the EV measures this frequency and duty cycle. The frequency is not within the required range, then they will stop doing the communication between them and charging gets stopped. Then it is the EV which actually changes the voltage level. So, I have mentioned the voltage level, or you can say amplitude of PWM, this voltage level or amplitude, and that is when the EVSC come to know whether the EV is ready for charging or not. So, on the EVSC side, the EVSC measures the voltage between the control pallet and protective earth. So, in the communication over the CP line, the pulse width modulated signal of 1 kilohertz is being sent, and the EV measures those duty ratio and frequency. Then EV changes its state by changing the S2 switch, and that is when it changes the voltage level of the PWM pulses, which will tell EVSC whether the EV is ready or not to do the charging or is ready for energy transfer or not. And then EV actually measures that the voltage level of the PWM pulses, which is been defined by the EV, and then accordingly EVSC also comes to know what is the status at which the vehicle is. So, we will see one by one how this communication takes place. Remember, this is the PWM pulses which is taking place over the CP line between the EVSC and vehicle. This is not the pulse width modulation which is being used to control the power in the power conversion unit. So, in the power conversion unit, the pulse width modulation of the gate pulses are taking place using a dedicated controller which is being used to control the power flow of the power conversion unit. This is just to do the communication between the EV and EVSC, that means to send some vital information from the EVSC to the EV, or to check what is the status, whether the EV is accepting the charge or not, or whether the EVSC is ready to transfer the energy or not. So, it is for that purpose only this CP pin is being used, and over the CP pin it is the PWM which is being activated, so that to ensure that information is being sent. So, if you look at the circuit parameters of a control pilot circuit, it actually has, as I mentioned, the oscillator which is being put in, the pulse width modulated signal which is been put in, has the peak value, or you can say the positive voltage of 12 volt, it has the negative voltage of minus 12 volt. So, it is a PWM pulse going from plus 12 volt to minus 12 volt. It is not the 0 volt, it is a plus 12 volt or the minus 12 volt. So, the pulses will be like minus 12 volt, then again plus 12 volt, and the T on period is the time during which the positive voltage is being applied, where duty ratio is the fraction of the period of the PWM cycle during which the positive voltage pulse is being applied. Then the frequency, as I mentioned, it's 1 kilohertz plus minus 0.5 hertz. The maximum value of rise time. So, see, this PWM will have some rise time, it will not be a straight line, it will have some rise time and it will have some fall time. So, the maximum rise time it can afford to be 2 microsecond, because if we take 1 kilohertz, it means in 1 millisecond the 2 microsecond is nothing but just 0.2%. So, it is very less as compared to the duty ratios which one can achieve. Then the maximum value of falling time is again 2 microsecond, which is again 0.25% maximum value. So, it is very less as compared to the overall PWM cycle. Then minimum value of settling time is nothing but 3 microsecond. That means sometimes this PWM pulse will have also sometimes this kind of oscillation, so it will settles down. Maximum value is 3 microseconds, so it is nothing but 0.3%, which is very less as compared to the 1 millisecond PWM cycle. Then resistance of the source. So here we have the resistance of the source, which is nothing but 1 kilo ohm plus minus 3%. So 1K means 1 kilo ohm plus minus 3%. And the CS value, this capacity, there will always be capacitance between different pins. So between CP and ground, the maximum recommended capacitance for the suppression of this interference is nothing but 300 picofarad. However, the maximum value of total line capacitance, which is corresponding to the capacitance between control palette and ground, and the cable capacitance of the cable, should be less than 3100 picofarad. So these are some of the CP circuit parameters. Now let us see how the different states takes place, or how the charging takes place. So initially, whenever the charger plug is not connected with the vehicle, so this is a portion in the EVSC side and this is a portion on EV side, and whenever the connector is not get connected to the EV, that means there is no physical connection between the control palette and ground to EV, or you can say the protective earth. This is the protective earth pin, this is the control palette pin or palette signal, you can say. So during this time, we know that on the vehicle side we are measuring the frequency and duty cycle. On the EVSC side we are measuring the maximum voltage which these PWM pulses we have at this point. So during this point, what happens is that if you look very carefully, the S1 switch, this S1 switch is actually gets controlled by the EVSC, and we have another switch which is S2 switch, which is on the vehicle and which gets controlled by the vehicle controller. So in this, the first state takes place, which is nothing but called as a state A. In state A, the charger is, the EVSC is not been connected to EV. So you can say EV is not connected to EVSC. And since EVSC is not connected to EV, the PWM or the oscillator, you can say, is turned off, or you can say that PWM is deactivated, and this S1 switch is connected to the fixed 12 volt, the constant 12 volt. Since it has been connected to the constant 12 volt, there is no connection on this side. So at this point, the value of voltage is nothing but plus 12 volt. So at this point, which is been measured by the EVSC, this point, this value is been measured by EVSC controller. The EVSC controller identifies it is a 12 volt, and which indicates that vehicle is in state A. State A means the charger plug is not connected to the EV, and at this point your EVSC controller has plus 12 volt, which is been actually measured by the EVSC controller. Then afterwards, the next state comes when the charger plug gets plugged into the EV. Now the moment the charger plug gets plugged into the EV, what happens is that the vehicle enters into the state B1. This is the state B1. In state B1, what happens is that this diode is nothing but a diode D1. Now in state B1, what happens is that if you look very carefully in state B1, in this circuit, if you look very carefully, this circuit which goes from here to here. So in this figure, if you look very carefully, we have plus 12 volt. After plus 12 volt, it is connected to through S1 switch. Through S1 switch, this S1 switch is engaged with the fixed plus 12 volt to the R1 resistance, and this is nothing but 1000 ohm. We can neglect for now the tolerance level. Then after this, what happens is that since plus 12 volt is there, your D1 gets forward biased. D1 get forward biased, and then finally you have nothing but R3, which is nothing but 2740 ohm, and then it is connected to protective earth. And at this point, which is nothing but this point, is actually been measured by, which is nothing but VDC, which is been measured by EVSC controller, measured by EVSC controller. Now at this state, what happens is that, Let us calculate what will be the VDC value. Will be nothing but your 2740, which is coming over here, divided by 2740 plus 1000 ohm. This is the actual resistor divider, multiplied by this 12 volt is coming, and this value will give you nothing but equal to 8.79 volt, which is roughly nothing but equal to 9 volt. So what happens at this point, the EVSC measure it's at plus 9 volt, which indicates the EV is getting connected, but it is not ready for charging. The moment the 9 volt comes here, I mean at this point, since it is been measured by EVSC controller, at this point the moment plus 9 volt comes over there, it indicates that some EV is been connected, but the EV is not ready for charging. And here, since the S1 switch is connected to fixed 12 volt, the vehicle identifies that, the EV identifies that the PWM is deactivated, which means EVSC is not ready for charging. So in this state B1, the EVs get connected and the EVSC recognizes the vehicle is been connected. However, in the EVSC side, the oscillator is still off, that means PWM is still deactivated, which is understood by EV that the EVSC is not ready for charging. So in this case, they are plugged in, but they both are not ready for charging. Now comes another state, which is called as a state B2. At this state, what happens is that the S1 switch changes its position to the oscillator, and that is when you can say that at this point, whenever the S1 switch is getting connected to the oscillator, so what you can say at this state, PWM is activated, which indicates that EVSC is ready for energy transfer, but still EV is not been ready for charging because EV is still does not changes the state of the S2 switch. So at this stage, what happens is that the S1 switch is connected to the oscillator, that indicates EVSC is now ready for energy transfer, but now EV has to tell that okay, I am also ready to accept the charge. So at this point, again if you look very carefully, here you have plus 12 volt coming in and minus 12 volt coming in. So when you take the maximum voltage which is being coming out at this point, so if you can put here the speed of plus 12 minus 12 volt comes over here, and that is when you know it is going through R1 switch 1000 ohm, and the diode D1 gets forward bias. Again diode D1 gets forward bias only during whenever we have the positive voltage. During the negative voltage, the D1 gets reversed bias. So that means we have only have the positive voltage which is been then apply through the R3 resistance to the ground protective earth. So at this point, what is there is that we have VDC, which is only you know going up to plus 9 volt plus 8.79 volt coming in, and that is nothing but equal to nearly equal to 9 volt. Because only positive side is only positive polarity is been used or is been activated due to the presence of D1 diode. Now because of this, at this state B2, it indicates that the EVSC is ready, but EV is still not ready. So we moved from A to B1 where our charger gets plugged in, then goes to B2 where the voltage level of PWM remains the same, but because of the PWM which is coming over here, the EV detects that frequency and duty cycle, and it understood that now the EVSC is ready. So at this place EVSC is ready for charging, for energy transfer. Then comes the next state. Now the EVSC is ready, now vehicle has to get ready. So then vehicle gets ready by changing the state of S2 switch. By controlling this S2 switch, the vehicle controller tells to the EVSC that they are also ready by moving from the off state to the on state, where the R2, which is 1.3 kilo ohm, gets connected in parallel to this R3 resistance, and that's when the circuit will be, this PWM will be coming in over here, plus 12 volt, minus 12 volt, like this will be coming over here. Then we have R1, which is nothing but 1000 ohm, then going to diode D1, this is diode D1. Diode D1, because of diode D1 the negative polarity voltage will cut off, and that's when we only have the positive polarity voltage. And then after this point we have the R3, which is nothing but 2740 ohm. In parallel to that we have R2, which is 1300 ohm, and then it is connected to protective earth. And at this point we are actually measuring the VDC voltage. So the VDC voltage will be nothing but equal to, if we do the basic resistor divider, if we do, so what we will get is 2740 in parallel to 1300 ohm divided by 2740 in parallel to 1300 ohm plus 1000, and this multiplied by 12 volt, because negative will not come into picture because of the diode D1. Diode D1 gets reversed bias. So this we can just do 2740 into 1300 parallel 2740 parallel 1300 is nothing but 2740 times 1300, 2740 plus 1300 is nothing but 882, near about 882 ohm, and that indicates this is nothing but 882 divided by 882 plus 1000 into 12, which gives you value to be nothing but 5.79 volt, which is roughly equal to 6 volt. So at the control pilot, this is control pilot pin, on the EVSC side it will measure the 6 volt, and the moment the EVSC comes to know that the 6 volt is coming in at the maximum voltage level of the PWM pulses, PWM signals, that's when EVSC comes to know that the EV is also ready to accept the charge. So that means the moment the vehicle enters into state C2, see we are not talking about C1 state, I will discuss here. At this state it is called as the C2 state. At this state the EVSC is already ready for to do the energy transfer by activating its PWM. Now EV is also been ready by changing the state of S2 switch, ready for charging by changing the state of S2 switch, and that is being detected by EVSC, as EVSC is measuring the voltage level of the PWM. Since the S2 switch is status got changed, that's when the 2740 ohm comes in parallel to 1300 ohm, and that is when your voltage level at this point is goes to near about 6 volt, which is 5.79 volt, and that is when the EVSC also know that the EV is ready for charging. And when EV will change this S2 switch, when EV is ready for charging. So now we have moved from A state where vehicle is not been plugged in, to B1 state where vehicle gets plugged in, then to B2 state where EVSC is ready by activating the PWM, and which is been detected by EV, and after detecting that PWM, EV will change its state of switch S2 to indicate to EVSC that it is also ready to charge, to go, which makes the state of charging to go into the state C2. Now you will be wondering why C2, why not C1? So C1 is the state, EV is ready for charging, that means the plus 6 volt is coming over here. In the same manner what we have discussed, that we have this PWM, from the PWM this thing there. However, in this case what happens is that the EVSC could have got some failure or some error, and because of that its PWM gets deactivated and it will connect its S1 switch to plus 12 volt. So in this case the plus 12 volt comes here through R1, which is 1000 ohm, through the D1 diode to the resistance which is in parallel to each other, which is 2740 and 1300, goes into P, protective earth, and here we are measuring the VDC, which is nothing but 5.79 volt, same as what we have seen in the previous state. So, the voltage level, since the S1 switch is moved from the oscillator to the plus 12 volt, that is when the VDC value will remain be the same. So, what happens in this case, the EV enters into the charging state, maybe EVSE would have got some error, and because of that EVSE quickly tells the EV that it is not ready by changing its switch S1 from the oscillator to the fixed 12 volt, and that is when on the vehicle side it detects the frequency and duty ratio to be 0, and that is when the EV comes to know that okay, although I am ready, but EVSE is not ready for charging, and that is why PWM is deactivated, and that is when accordingly EV will change its state if it feels that it has to change the state. Sometimes it could also happen that EVSE may return back, or that error may go, and the EVSE will again activate its PWM, and that is when again, since EV is ready, so the charging will take place. So, we go from A to B1 to B2, and then we enter to C2, and if there is some problem, then it can also enter into C1 state. If there is some problem in EVSE, so EVSE will change its S1 switch from the oscillator to the fixed 12 volt, and that is when EVSE will change its status, that it is not ready for energy transfer. Now, there is another state which can take place. In this state, what happens is that sometimes while charging the EV requires a ventilation. So, in this state, what happens is that the EV will then change the R2 value from 1300 ohm to the 270 ohm, and that is when EV will tell the EVSE that the EV requires the ventilation, especially for EVs with vented batteries which emit gases, so thus require ventilation. It is requested by the EV, and EVSE will then detects it and changes the state. If EVSE does not support ventilation, it will not allow charging in D state. However, it is for older EVs where the vented batteries are used. Now, modern day EVs does not require this state, mostly it is in the state C. So, in this case what happens is that you have again the PWM which is coming over here, plus 12 volt, minus 12 volt, PWM is coming over here, and from here we have this R1 which is 1000 ohm, then we have this diode D1, and then we have R3 which is 2740 ohm in parallel to 270 ohm. In place of 1300 ohm, it is now 270 ohm, and then it is connected to protective earth. So, at this place, if we see the VDC, because of the diode, it is only the positive voltage which will be appearing. So, at this point VDC will become nothing but 2740 in parallel to 270 ohm divided by 2740 in parallel to 270 ohm plus 1000 ohm multiplied by 12 volt, and this we know that 2740 multiplied by 270, which is divided by 2740 plus 270, it will be somewhere around 246. So, that is when we can write 246 by 246 plus 1000 into 12, which is becoming equal to be 2.37 volt, which is roughly equal to the 3 volt. So, this value is being measured by the EVSE controller, it will see the voltage nothing but equal to 3 volt. So, in this case EV is ready for charging, but it requires ventilation. Since the PWM is activated, the EVSE is ready for energy transfer. So, in this case both the EV and EVSE both are ready for energy transfer, but EV requires the ventilation. Then comes the next state. So, we went from A to B1 to B2 to C1 or C2 state or D state in case the ventilation is needed. After this, what happens, at this state the EV both are ready for charging and the contactor gets closed, and that is when what happens is that in the L1, L2, L3 and N pin of AC type 2 connector, the AC voltage starts appearing, and that actually goes to the AC to DC converter to do the AC to DC conversion, and then DCC isolated state, and then going to the battery. However, during the operation there could be possibility that this control pilot pin gets short circuited with the protective earth, maybe because of some external entity or because of loose connections or due to the sudden jerk or sudden removing or closing, some error could have happened. So, there is short circuit, and that is when the VDC value at this point becomes 0. This VDC is the voltage which is measured with respect to protective earth. So, this will become 0, and that is when the problems like short circuited of control pilot pin of CP and PE pin may take place. There could be error from the EVSC side, some error could have occurred because during the operation of this thing. So, this is the state E, which is nothing but the state where the short circuit or some fault occurs between the control pilot and protective earth, and that is when both the EV and EVSC comes to know that there is some problem and they have to stop, do the energy transfer. Then comes another state which is nothing but state F, where the VDC voltage is nothing but minus 12 volt, and sometimes it may occur because of some error, or sometimes the charging station is not available, or you can say the EVSC is not available. So, this is again the error condition, and previous one is also the communication error conditions. The state E also arises due to fault in the control pilot and protective earth pins. In this case, it is error condition, or EVSC gets plugged out and the measuring circuit may have some error, or you can say the EVSC gets plugged out or unavailable. So, this could be one problem, and the state at which the vehicle and EVS are called as the state F. So, finally, when we do the overall charging sequence, or you can say when we try to summarize everything, so we can have first state A. Now, in state A, let us define different states. In state A, our VDC value is nothing but 12 volt, EVSC is measuring the 12 volt, it indicates EV is not connected to EVSC, and the resistance between CP and PE pin is not defined. Resistance between CP and PE pin is R, CP PE pin is not defined. Then comes our next state, which is state B1. In state B1, we have VDC nothing but equal to 9 volt we were getting. VDC at which is been measured by the EVSC controller is 9 volt, and you can say that S1 is still connected to fixed 12 volt, fixed plus 12 volt, PWM is deactivated. So, it indicates that EV is connected, and we can say that neither EV or EVSC is ready for energy transfer, and the resistance between CP and PE pin is nothing but 2740 ohm. You can see in state B1, between CP pin, this is the control pilot pin, between CP and PE pin it is nothing but 2740 ohm resistance which is coming in. Similarly, in state B2, next state is state B2. In state B2, what we are doing is our VDC value is nothing but 9 volt. Our S1 is connected to oscillator. That is when PWM is activated, and our EVSC is ready. However, our EV is not ready, and S2 is still not connected to, we can just take not connected to R2. And here what we get value is nothing but we will get value is plus 9 volt, and in the negative side it is minus 12 volt. Here we were just having plus 12 volt because constant is connected to constant thing, it is connected to constant thing, so it is just the plus 9 volt. Here on the CP and protective earth we are getting plus 9 volt and minus 12 volt, and we can just write our CP and PE is nothing but equal to 2740 ohm, because still S2 is not connected to R2. Then comes our state C1. In state C1 we have VDC equal to plus 6 volt. S1 is actually, this is the state when the EV is ready but EVS is not ready, so it is connected to fixed 12 volt. S2 is on and connected to R2. PWM is deactivated, that indicates EV is ready but EVSC is not ready because our PWM is not activated or deactivated, and we are having plus 6 volt, and RCP and PE is nothing but 882 ohm. Then comes our state C2 where our VDC is nothing but 6 volt. S1 is connected to oscillator, S2 is on and connected to R2. PWM is activated, this indicates my EVSC is ready and my EV is also ready. Both are ready and ready to do the energy transfer, and here we were getting the PWM to be plus 6 volt and minus 12 volt, and RCP and PE is nothing but same as previous C1 state, which is 882 ohm. Then comes your state D where our VDC is nothing but 3 volt, our S1 is connected to oscillator, S2 is actually connected to 270 ohm, or you can say S2 is off and there could be another switch which is connected to 270 ohm, we have represented in that way. So you can say that S2 is connected to this one, it indicates that EVSC is ready, also EV is ready, but EV require some kind of ventilation. So here we have plus 3 volt and minus 12 volt which comes over here, and RCPPE is nothing but having 246 ohm. Then we have quickly we will write state E as well. Here we have VDC equal to 0, fault condition which has occurred. You can say communication, some communication fault. Here we have just 0 volt coming in, there is no PWM which is coming there, and we have now finally we have state F. In state F our VDC is equals to minus 12 volt, which is error condition. Error condition could be suddenly removing of the EVSC, you can say EVSC is not available, and here we will not have any PWM, we just have minus 12 volt. Here in state A we have plus 12 volt, in state B1 our PWM will be plus 9 volt, our state B2 is plus 9 volt minus 12 volt, state C1 we have plus 6 volt, in state C2 our PWM has plus 6 minus 12 volt, state D we have plus 3 minus 12 volt, in state E we have 0 volt, and in state F we have minus 12 volt. This minus 12 volt is still there because of our diode D1 does not get turned on, it get turned on only in the positive voltage. Now till now we have seen we are only talking about the voltage levels. So the voltage levels of the PWM, which moves between plus 12 volt and minus 12 volt, the voltage levels we were only talking about the voltage level of the PWM, which indicates whether the EV and EVSC are ready or not. Or primarily we can say that the voltage level tells whether EV is ready for energy transfer or not, and EV comes to know whether EVSC is ready by detecting the duty ratio and the frequency of the PWM. So this is where will indicate just whether they are ready to do the power transfer or not. But how much amount of current which the EVSC can provide, because see, in the communication between EVSC and EV, it's the EV, or you can say the BMS of the EV is the master. That means it's the BMS which tells the onboard charger that you make sure that this much voltage and current should come at the output of the isolated DC-DC converter. To make the decision by the BMS must also know what could be the maximum value which can be drawn from the EVSC, and that is obtained by defining the duty ratio. Till now we are only talking about the voltage level, but now we will also see what is the meaning of duty ratio. So duty ratio indicates the maximum current which can be demanded by the BMS of the EV, and this duty ratio will be defined by the EVSC. This duty ratio is defined by EVSC because the PWM is generated inside the EVSC. It is the EVSC controller which tells to the EV that this is the maximum current which I can allow, and now EV must demand the current is lower than the maximum value of the current which the EVSC can support. How it indicates? If the duty ratio is between 0 and 3%, it indicates there is no current which can be demanded by the EV. If it is between 3% to 7%, it indicates that it is the DC charging, and there again the high level communication will take place, which we will discuss when we discuss about the DC charging. So between 3 to 7 is the point which is been blocked by the DC charging, and then if the duty ratio is between 7 to 8%, the EV cannot demand the maximum current. If the duty ratio is between 8 to 10%, it is just the 6 ampere which can be maximum current which can be demanded by the EV. If the duty ratio is between 10 to 85%, it is 0.6 times of the duty ratio. So for example, if the duty ratio is let us say 20, that indicates my maximum current I max which can be demanded by the vehicle is nothing but 0.6 times 20, which is nothing but 12 ampere. Similarly, if the duty ratio is between 85 to 96, it is D minus 64 times 2.5. If the duty ratio is between 96 and 97, it is the maximum current nothing but equal to 80 ampere which can be demanded by the electric vehicle or demanded by the BMS of the EV. And if the duty ratio is between 97 and 100, the EVSC cannot support the charging, and then the BMS is not been allowed to demand any current from the EVSC. This is how the EVSC tells the EV that this is the maximum current at present EV can draw, and it depends upon the temperature, different things inside the EVSC which can be told to the EV. Sometimes because of variable pricing, the EVSC can change that maximum current which they can support when it is demanded by the BMS of the EV. So the voltage level tells whether the EV is ready, the PWM tells whether the EVSC is ready, the duty ratio tells how much maximum current the EVSC can support. Now if we look overall the waveform, how the waveform at the control palette looks like. So if we look very carefully in this particular system, so first it was the plus 12 volt which is appearing, so the charger plug is not connected to the vehicle. Then the charger plug gets connected. So once the charger plug gets connected, it goes to plus 9 volt on the positive side. PWM is still deactivated. So this is the place B1 state is there. Now after T1, from the once the charging enters into the B1 state, after T1, after some time the PWM gets activated. That is when the charging enters into the B2 state, and once it is in B2 state, it is the plus 9 volt and minus 12 volt PWM appears across the control palette. and the duty ratio will tell to the vehicle that what is the maximum current which they can demand. After TS2 on period, S2 switch is turned on by the EV. The S2 switch gets turned on inside the vehicle. As a result of which, if the PWM is activated, vehicle enters into the C2 state or D state. If the R2 value is actually 270 ohm, then the vehicle demands the ventilation. So it is could be either plus 6 volt or plus 3 volt, but the negative will remain be the minus 12 volt. And then what happens is that now at this point, at this place, we can say vehicle is also ready and EVSC is also ready. So at this point, after TAC on, the alternating current will start appearing across L1, L2, L3 pins or those power pins, and then after T on period, the vehicle will start drawing current, because after contactor gets turned on, the BMS of the vehicle will take some time and then it will start drawing current from the AC source. Now at this point, the current demanded by the BMS, at this point this current magnitude must be less than the maximum value of the current which can be supported by EVSC, and that EVSC will tell to the EV by the duty ratio of its PWM. So this value is nothing but 1 kilohertz, the cycle time, and this duty ratio will actually tell to the EV that this much is the maximum current which can be demanded, and the vehicle must demand the current smaller than that maximum value of current, which is this current has to be less than what the maximum value of current which the EVSC can support. After this point, what happens is that at this point the EVSC will change its duty ratio and told the EV that this is the maximum current which they can demand, and that is when the EV will respond to it and the current demanded by that will get reduced, because the duty cycle here gets reduced. And then after certain point, once the vehicle understood that it get fully charged, the vehicle will change its S2 switch. That is when what happens is that the vehicle moves from either C2 or D state to the next state, which is B2 state, where the voltage we are getting is plus 9 volt and PWM is activated. That means EVSC is ready for charging, but the EV is not ready for charging. And then after certain point, the contactors gets open, and that is when the alternative voltages which are appearing at the L1, L2, L3 pins will get removed, and that is when what happens is that after this point your contactor gets opened, and that is when the alternative voltage which was coming was gone to 0, and that is when the vehicle will then enter into the state where this PWM will get deactivated, and after this point, this T2A point, the charger gets actually plugged out. So this is how the AC charging takes place. First it goes from A state to B1 state, then to B2 state, then C2 state, and in C2 state when the voltage is either plus 6 volt or 3 volt, it is during that time only the EVSC and both EV are ready for charging and the contactor gets closed, and that is when you are having alternating voltage appearing at the L1, L2, L3 pins, and that is when using the duty ratio information of the PWM, the EVSC tell to EV that this is the maximum current which it can draw, and then BMS will do the calculation, will look its lookup table or its algorithms, and then decide, okay, this much maximum current EVSC can support, and let me demand this much current which is less than the maximum value of current which the EVSC can support, and then the charging will take place, and after that, once the EVSC cannot support that much current, it will change its duty ratio. That is when vehicle will come to know, okay, now I have to demand less current, so which is less than the maximum value of current if the EVSC changes, and then after certain period of time when the battery gets fully charged, the vehicle S2 switch will gets opened up, and that is when the charging goes from the C2D state to B2 stage, and that is when the EVSC is ready, but the vehicle is not ready, and then after TAC off, the contactor gets open up, and that is when your voltage at L1, L2, L3 will no longer have the alternative voltage, it will be going to 0, and that is when after certain point the PWM gets deactivated, and then finally plug is ready to get plugged out, and then it gets plugged out and charging state will enter into the state A. So this is how the AC charging takes place, since the entire power conversion is taking place inside the vehicle, we don't have to exchange a lot of information, we don't have to exchange the informations of the related to battery to the vehicle, only some key information which has to be exchanged between EV and EVSE, which is being done using the PWM based communication. It is also called as a low level communication. Now we will see in the next class how in the DC charging the communication takes place and what are the charging sequences we have in the DC charging, because in DC charging the communication is quite complicated because we have to share a lot of information to EVSE since the power conversion is taking place inside the EVSE. So, we will discuss those things in the next class. Thank you very much for patiently listening to this lecture.